All right. Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show, reacting to the Vikings. Big win over the Dallas Cowboys. As everybody knows with this show, the worst possible things that can happen are the NFC North teams lose, the rivals of the Vikings, and the Vikings win. But that's exactly what we have today outside of the Chicago Bears. Another rule that I tried to tell everyone, including Ziggy and Jack, during the preview for Week 15 was when it doesn't matter, that's when the Minnesota Vikings are at their best, right? When the playoffs are officially off the table, or basically off the table, that's when you will get the best version of the Minnesota Vikings. And you've seen it 2 weeks in a row. The Vikings have played really well. Again, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Probably not gonna be a very long one tonight, but I'm pretty happy. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm pretty happy with that performance right there. I know we're just tanking our draft stock, and that's just something the Vikings are gonna do. I told you everyone a couple weeks ago that no matter what, we'd end up probably around the 12th pick. And let's just see if it ended today, Tankathon NFL. If it ended today, yep, 12. I mean that's what we're going to be picking no matter what. So we moved to 6-8 on the season, and we may as well just hope to play good football. But the big takeaway here, right, watching Vikings-Cowboys, we're all just watching JJ McCarthy right now. That's the only thing Vikings fans should really care about. And the past 2 weeks have been good. The past 2 weeks have actually been good football. Not just, especially compared to what we were seeing in the previous 10 weeks of JJ McCarthy, which were borderline unwatchable. And we've now seen this team win 31-0 over the Commanders, where JJ goes 16 for 23, 163 yards and 3 touchdowns. And today, 34-26 over a Dallas team that had to have this game at home in Dallas, a place and a team that the Vikings have struggled a lot with over the past few years. And JJ goes 15 for 24, 250, 2 touchdowns, and that horrible, kind of unlucky interception to start the game. It was pretty funny listening to Collinsworth and Tirico talking about how all the Vikings fans, we finally breathed a sigh of relief. JJ didn't have a turnover against Washington. And on the first play of the game, bat up in the air, Leonard Williams gets an interception. Because that is how we felt after the Commander game. It was finally, we can't win these games if JJ is going to have 2+ turnovers a game. You just don't win in the National Football League when you turn the ball over at that rate. And over the past 2 weeks now, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. And he got one in on the ground tonight as well. Everything seems to be slowing down a little bit. Obviously, they pointed out the mechanics are... I'm not a quarterbacks coach. You can tell that the mechanics are still a little bit off with JJ McCarthy. But he made a lot of really nice throws tonight, and the bad decisions were reduced. Right? That's one of the biggest things. Not as many balls sailing out of bounds on little out routes that have to be completed, and not as many boneheaded decisions. And it's looked a lot cleaner. And you see this Vikings team, when they have clean quarterback play, pretty good roster, pretty good team, right? This is a competitive team. And I think over the final 3 weeks of the season here, as we have the Lions and Packers coming up, 2 teams that that's in week 17 and 18 with the Giants next week. Like they're 2 playoff teams that are competing for spots. Not that they're scared to play the Vikings by any means, but this is a Viking team that sort of has it rolling right now. And I'm really proud of the way they came out tonight, where it's easy. I have to imagine it's real easy when you're 4-8 the way we were a couple weeks ago. You're legitimately out of the playoffs. It could spiral quick, especially with the way JJ was playing. The team comes out, and guys aren't saying the wrong things, but they're not really saying the right things in their interviews about not wanting to play in an offense where it's dumbed down basically for your rookie quarterback. And they've just come out and have been resilient the past couple of weeks. I know that it doesn't matter much, but I do think that these things matter for a team and for a young quarterback to build his confidence. You don't want to lose the locker room. And JJ's just such a likable guy. You see him before the game high-fiving all the military people. He's an easy person to root for. He's someone you want to see do well. And I think this is just something... This is something that I said earlier in the season, 3-4 weeks ago, and people were kind of getting on me, especially some of my friends who listen, about taking it slow with JJ. Yes, he was legitimately the second worst quarterback of the century. But sometimes you just got to give these guys a chance here. I mean, the dude misses an entire season with a knee injury. He's not able to practice, right? He's just rehabbing at the facility. He comes back, he struggles. I mean, JJ was really, really bad earlier this season. And you've seen things really slow down, and he's finally playing at an acceptable pace. I mean, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, that's a good day. You take that. Yes, Commanders defense, Cowboys defense, not world beaters by any stretch of the imagination, but we'd rather see this than him get dominated by those teams. And I just think we all had to take a big step back. Aaron Rodgers, relax, right? Let's give our guy a chance here. I'm not saying JJ McCarthy is the franchise savior or anything like that, but we're moving in the right direction now, and you have 3 games coming up to end the year. If we close out well, the only goal of this team, I don't care about the draft pick. If JJ plays well, it's a huge success. We need to be in a position where going into next season, we have our quarterback, or at least we think we have our quarterback. Where we were 2 weeks ago to where we are now, we're feeling a lot better. Nothing's guaranteed, but the guy has the mental stuff. It's about bringing it all together. I just wish Justin Jefferson could get involved. It's almost unbelievable that despite the improved play, no matter what the throw is to Jefferson, it seems like something goes wrong. Either McCarthy's wildly off, or oddly enough, Jefferson's dropping passes. And Justin Jefferson, dude, never drops a pass. And we've seen that. They just can't seem to get on the same page here. And that is a little bit concerning for me. I said this before, not that Jefferson's going to throw a fit or anything like that. This is arguably the best player in football, best receiver in football maybe. And he has 35 yards over the past 3 weeks. That just can't happen. It just can't. I'm, again, not worried that Jefferson's going to start lashing out on Twitter or in his post-game press conferences. In fact, he actually kind of does the opposite. Yes, he may every now and then show some frustration on the field, which is good, right? It's a frustrating time for him. But this week, when asked about it, he's saying, I'm trying my best to be a good leader. It's a tough season, obviously. I'm learning new ways to lead, and I try and do it out on the field. But he didn't shy away from it. It's been tough. I just would love to find ways, 37 yards, I'm sorry, not 35, over the past 3 weeks. Big difference. But we just got to find ways to get him the football. He's too good. He's too good to not get involved, and he's someone that I don't even want to risk. I don't even want to risk having him upset in this situation. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. I mean, he has 800 yards this year. This is a guy who has 1,800 yards normally, and we seem to just be. He's just been off. There's something that's not there right now. Naylor's been awesome. I do think Jalen Naylor's been playing really well. He had 2 touchdowns tonight, for only 3 catches for 47 yards, but he's a really good number 3. Hawkinson's been a lot better lately. It's funny. Aaron Jones only had 34 yards on the ground. He felt like he had a couple big time plays though. I was really impressed with the way they played tonight. Just looking, let's see what the chat's saying. I know the chat's very upset today. Joe Burrow, that's funny. A lot of 9 comments here as well. And yeah, JJ is raw, work in progress. That's exactly what we're looking at here. We're looking at somebody that's going to take a lot more time, but we're making the right strides as it is right now. Again, I know that a lot of the Packer fans we have listening are bummed out today. And obviously you should be with Micah Parsons going down with the ACL. I think it's an overreaction, though, to say your season's over. I really do. This is a team coming into the year that a lot of people thought could make noise, that with a handful of players stepping up could launch themselves into the elite of the NFC. And when Micah got there, I mean, he provided that boost to get you where you needed to be. But without him now, you're kind of in that same place where you need some guys to step up that you weren't expecting to. And I just wouldn't rule them out yet until you see what this team is made of in Chicago. On the other side of things, it's a great opportunity for Chicago, who have been doubted most of the year, to go and prove everybody wrong and go and beat Green Bay. This is the time to beat them, right? They're as vulnerable as they'll be for the next handful of years, as they are right now. The injuries are kind of unfathomable. I mean, it's just a ridiculous slew of players, a ridiculous slew of elite players for the Packers who are out. And this is your chance. And you get the number 2 seed in a wide open field this year. Have to win this game if you're Chicago. You just have to win it. Especially because if you lose it, you do not, I mean, you control your destiny, but so do the Lions now. And the Lions, if they beat you in that last week of the season, you might miss the playoffs. It's just such a weird dynamic we're seeing where a 10-4 team, chance the 1 seed right now, but also very real possibility they can miss the playoffs. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to the end of the year. Obviously, the Micah thing is just devastating, though. I mean, that's as crushing of an injury as you can have to that team for someone not named Jordan Love. Let's see here. So, Vikings defense, I thought, played pretty well. Cashman, 11 tackles. Harrison Smith would have liked to have seen him got that interception at the end. It's kind of frustrating tonight watching Javonte Williams seemingly on every first down of the Cowboy drives, run for like 9-10 yards and moving the chains. But outside of CeeDee Lamb, the Vikings did a pretty decent job of containing the Dallas passing attack. CeeDee had 111 yards. Wasn't dominant by any means, but I thought the Vikings played pretty well. It's just, when you're 6-8, we're watching these games, and it takes a lot out of it when you're not in the playoff race, which is disappointing. But again, I'm just happy to see JJ making slow improvements. O'Connell, I think, is doing a nice job of helping him out, and it's great to see everybody get more involved here. And as we head towards next season for the Vikings, I think they have a legitimate chance of returning to competency. I saw a funny tweet that the Vikings over the past 10 years have switched on and off, making and missing the playoffs every single season, which is, kind of crazy. And that's the reason that's the reason they made the commitment to JJ, right? It's because they've always been in this state of it seems they're either hyper competitive or they're, like 6-10, 7-10, and it's a mediocre season. And part of that is because a lot of the Vikings' history has just been going and getting an older quarterback who comes in, and maybe he has that last hurrah season, and maybe the rest of the team is usually pretty good, and you could go on a run. And usually they fade towards the end of the year, or something catastrophic happens, or that guy doesn't have it, and they're just not very good. So going with JJ was really them trying to find their franchise guy and be in a position where they're like, a team like obviously Kansas City with Mahomes and Allen with Buffalo are unbelievable guys, but that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping to find your guy where you can year in and year out know we have our dude, and as long as we can give him a competent roster around him, we're going to be able to go on a run. And we'll see. We'll just see. Hopefully JJ can continue to string together some good games. But I will say, every time he wins, there is an energy that he brings, and there's a certain aura about him that gets the fan base excited. He's the guy. He does have that it factor to him. The problem is he also has the second worst quarterback of the century person in him as well. And it's just a matter of who's going to show up week in and week out here. Let's see. Anything in the comments section from you guys? Appreciate everyone. We got like 100 people listening to this. It's just seeing the Jets have been cooked. Jefferson's lost his mitts. Yeah, I'm just not sure what's happening with him this year. He does just look off, and I'm not sure what it is. But, this is not the normal Justin Jefferson. Despite, even with the poor quarterback play, we've seen Jefferson be seemingly quarterback-proof his entire career, right? Whether it's Nick Mullins, Carson Wentz was playing, he was playing really well, that was just 2 games. Or Josh Dobbs was there for a little bit, but Jefferson's always been consistently great. And for some reason, something's going on. Hopefully takes the offseason. I don't know. As McCarthy gets better, they can work together this offseason to improve this. But yeah, all right. There's honestly not too much because they're again, we're not being it hurts. Dallas, it's a bad loss for Dallas. You got to win this one at home. They're at 1% chance of making the playoffs now, and you thought a couple weeks ago I think I had them at 8 in our power rankings, coming off the wins against the Raiders, Eagles, and Chiefs, which at the time felt like really strong wins. Beat the back-to-back, you beat the Super Bowl teams from last year, and you go into that Detroit game on Thursday night thinking if you win that one, all right, maybe we could actually catch Philly for the division here. And the defense has completely let them down. The defense the past 2 weeks gives up 44 to Detroit, 34 to the Vikings. And I know the Vikings put up 31 last week, but you're really hoping you can come out and get after JJ, make him make mistakes. You see that on the first play, and you're thinking, okay, here we go. Let's not give this guy any confidence. Let's try and get in his head early. And the Vikings, had a lot of success moving the ball up and down the field. If you're a Cowboy fan, I was getting texts from some of my buddies who are Cowboys fans that are just like, what the hell is going on here? It was just a bad night for them. And how often do you see Brandon Aubrey missing field goals, right? That guy feels automatic. He's one of the best weapons in football. A handful of times, Dallas crossed the 50-yard line. I looked over at my dad and was like, they're in field goal range right now. This guy's hits from 65, 66 can eat with ease, it seems. He misses a 51, 59-yarder tonight. Look at the final score here. That came into effect. Dallas driving down the field there at the end. They have those 6 points. They're playing for a touchdown, a chance to possibly even win the game. So he just didn't have it, and the offense wasn't able to. Amazingly, the offense wasn't able to keep up with Minnesota. And in all likelihood, we're going to see another year where the Cowboys continue their streak now. To 30 years, right? 95, last conference championship game they were in, and there's got to be a little bit of a sting when that offense has been as good as it's been this entire season. Let's see. Are they still, when it comes to points per game, they lead the league in yards per game, and they are fourth in points per game this year. The offense has been dynamic. Pickens hasn't really been great the past couple weeks. Not sure what's going on there. But, yeah, when you're this dynamic, you need more from the defense, and we'll see what happens this offseason if they can make a couple moves. But, disappointing for sure if you're a Cowboy fan. All right. Appreciate everyone for tuning in here. I understand, again, a pretty disappointing day for a lot of our listeners who are big-time Green Bay fans. But I'm serious when I tell you, I don't think you're done. Like, I really, really don't. You got to go and take care of Chicago, where it's amazing that you're a 2.5-point favorite. I like the Packers, honestly, to win that game, I think, right now. It's close. It's going to be close. But I was a little surprised to see Vegas come out and have you guys, let's see if it moved at all. It's moved down to 1.5. I'm expecting, I'd guess, a lot of people come in on Chicago following the Micah injury. You're going to see people seeing Micah out for the year, ACL, Green Bay being favored, and kind of raise their eyebrow to that. And if that pass rush can improve, they're going to have a lot of trouble come playoff as we're approaching the playoffs here. But all right, we'll wrap it up. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Again, just a quick reaction. Ziggy and Jack couldn't make it, but we'll be back later this week. Recapping more Week 15. We'll have Andy Herman on. Oh, gosh, poor Andy. Poor Andy. I haven't listened to his show yet, but I texted Andy after the Parsons injury, maybe 2 or 3 minutes after. And I just said, unthinkable 20 minutes for you guys. And Andy responds to everything very quickly. Andy is a quick texter. Nothing back. Does his show. Finally, 10 o'clock or whatever it was, 9:30. I just get brutal day from Andy. I feel bad. I feel bad for him. But we'll have our show with Andy behind enemy lines on Wednesday. I'll talk him. Look, a lot of this show is about making everyone feel a little bit better, right? You're trying to. It's just football. We need to get shirts, right? It's just football shirts, and for Andy and I, it's kind of funny because it is football. It is just football, but it's also sort of our livelihood in a way. So you're watching the game, you're like, it's just a football game, and then you kind of think back, and our channel is very much attached to Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago success. Even though I'm a Vikings fan, and I root against them. There obviously is a benefit to those teams doing well. For Andy, obviously, Pack-A-Day is the name of his podcast. The Packers do well, the better it is. Although Andy does seem to have the Packers misery. You'd rather go see Andy with Packers misery than a show like us, which I get. That's why, Vikings misery, people come to our channel. You listen to us commiserate. And, misery loves company in the fact, and when it's your team, right? And it's someone who's talking about your team. We don't really do that. But yeah, then I'll think back. I'm like, I guess this game actually does kind of matter for us. Like, man, we could really use that one, especially when they're playing a team like the Broncos that Sean Payton and my dad and I were joking around saying like there's probably some sort of Bounty Gate 2.0 with the field in Denver. It wasn't properly sodded or whatever, and don't step there, like we'll push Mike onto the 20-yard line, whatever it is. Yeah, Andy was lost. Oh yeah, he was in transit, wasn't he? That's tough. Yeah, maybe we do a therapy pod. That could be a good idea. I've been asking if anyone's a therapist for a long time to come on here. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just been a brutal football season. From the JJ misery to, obviously, everyone knows my feelings about Notre Dame. When Notre Dame was left out of the playoff, I was just like, this has to end. So much of my life is consumed with football from a work standpoint, right? But when football is your job, like I'm watching games all the time, watching highlights, I'm reading news, and there's this weird separation that you have between fan and work. But the fan in me is like, if I wasn't working in football, I would not be watching this right now. I'd be like, I'm so done with this. I'm so tired of college, pro. Like, I mean, I'd be watching, but my heart would just be like, all right, let's take a break here. But the work side makes you have to do it, and it's just been a tough year. And I think I think everyone on this channel as well is now along the lines of like, man, I just need a little break here. But this is the thing for the Packer fans and the Lions fans who are down. Like, you guys still have a shot. You really still have a shot. So, maybe we'll do a therapy episode this week. Just everyone take a break, get like a cup of tea or whatever, whatever warm beverage you need. It snowed like 7 inches here in Jersey. We're shoveling snow. Getting snowed on. Football teams suck. But, I guess at the end of the day, it is just football. Best part of the year, I think, Christmas season, holiday season. So can't complain too much. As long as you're happy, as long as you're healthy, right? You got your family and friends. God, that's when you're having a tough football day, when you break out all the stuff I'm saying right now. But good to see the Vikings win, nonetheless. So hope everybody has a nice end to their weekend, Sunday night. Chill out a little bit, and we'll be back this week. We'll have some fun. Remember, you're not out of it yet, Packers fans. You're not out of it yet, Lions fans and Bears fans. Now's your shot. Talk to you guys soon.